concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
What?
There's a lot that I can forgive, but there needs to be conversations, and then in order for reconciliation, and part of that has to be accountability.
Something's unraveling behind the palace walls, and it's bigger than anything we've seen before. A shocking DNA revelation involving Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's children, Archie and Lilibet, has sent Buckingham Palace into full-blown crisis mode. What was once whispered in corners is now a front-page demand for answers. And for the first time, the royals aren't in control of the narrative. Because if this twist is true, it doesn't just change public perception. It threatens the very foundation of the monarchy itself. Stay with us. What's coming next could rewrite royal history, historical background, and mounting suspicions. From the moment Meghan Markle announced her pregnancy with Archie, people were excited but also curious. Something felt off. It started small. Some photos showed her baby bump looking one size, and then days later, it seemed completely different. Sometimes it looked high, sometimes low, even shifting side to side in ways that didn't make sense. Of course, pregnancies vary from person to person, but the internet quickly picked up on these differences. Then came Meghan's behavior. She was attending events, walking in high heels, crouching down, and hugging people, even late into her pregnancy. Most women slow down in the final months, especially with their first child. But Meghan seemed full of energy, almost too comfortable. That's when an old video from Getty Images resurfaced, showing Meghan standing up, and something under her dress seemed to fold. It didn't look natural. The clip sparked new rumors. Was she wearing a fake bump? People online claimed the pillow moved. Supporters said it was a bad camera angle. Critics weren't so sure. To make things more suspicious, Meghan and Harry didn't follow the usual royal steps for their baby's birth. They didn't pose on the hospital steps like William and Kate did. They delayed releasing details. They shared only a blurry photo. The secrecy was odd for royal standards. At first, the palace said nothing. They ignored the talk, hoping it would go away. But it didn't. Over the years, the whispers grew louder, and as more people started to notice the small things, doubts turned into serious questions. Behind closed doors, the palace began taking those questions seriously. Recently, reports say they quietly started reviewing Meghan and Harry's records, everything from medical plans to staff notes. What they found raised more eyebrows. Some paperwork was missing. Hospital records were incomplete. Emails and schedules didn't match the dates they gave to the public. One document said Meghan wasn't showing yet, at a time when photos clearly showed a large bump. Another report said the usual royal doctors were kept out of the loop. The couple reportedly made last-minute changes without telling senior aides. These weren't small mistakes. The royal family is known for being very careful with records, especially around births. It's all part of the tradition and history. So when files were missing or dates didn't match, people inside the palace started to worry. Was it just bad record-keeping or something more? Then came a tip. According to sources, someone close to the matter gave private information to palace officials, suggesting they should look deeper. That tip seemed to confirm their quiet doubts. And so, the whispers turned into action. The palace didn't want to act without cause. But this time, the concerns weren't coming from tabloids or social media. They were coming from within. With the line of succession at stake, they couldn't ignore it anymore. If there was any chance that deception had taken place, it could affect the entire royal system. That's when the decision was made. The palace would ask for DNA confirmation, not out of cruelty, but out of duty. The monarchy depends on trust, on lineage, on clarity. If even a small question lingers about the legitimacy of royal children, it must be answered. For years, this topic was off-limits. Now it's front and center. The palace has made it clear they want the truth, not rumors, and with the world watching, Meghan and Harry will have to respond. The mystery is no longer a private matter. It's royal business. And it's only just beginning. The missing evidence problem. One of the biggest red flags in this whole situation is the missing paperwork. In the royal family, everything is usually recorded, double-checked, and kept safe, especially when it comes to something as important as the birth of a royal baby. But when people started looking into Meghan's deliveries, they noticed something strange. A lot of things were simply not there. To start with, there are no official hospital delivery records under Meghan's name. That's incredibly odd. For other royal births, like those of Prince William and Princess Kate's kids, there were clear hospital records, names of doctors, and signed statements from medical staff. In Meghan's case, there's nothing. Even more surprising is that no royal physician signed off on the births of Archie or Lilibet. This is highly unusual. Royal doctors are always part of the process, not just for medical reasons, but to make sure everything is official and recorded properly. They usually confirm the birth and make public statements. But this time, none of that happened. Then there's the missing paperwork related to standard maternity care. Usually, there are detailed records, appointments, scans, medical visits, maternity leave schedules, all the usual stuff that's part of a royal pregnancy. But again, these documents are nowhere to be found. All of this stands in sharp contrast to how things are normally done. For the royal family, keeping a clear, documented record is important. It protects the history and legitimacy of the family line. So when all these details are missing, it naturally leads to questions. That's where the surrogate theory comes in. Some people believe Meghan may not have carried the babies herself. And here's the thing, that wouldn't be wrong. Lots of families choose surrogacy, and there's nothing shameful about it. If Meghan had come out and said, "We chose a surrogate," many people would have supported her. But that's not what happened. If a surrogate was used and the palace didn't know, or worse, was purposely misled, that's a serious issue. Not because surrogacy is wrong, but because hiding it creates a trust problem. The royal family relies on truth and transparency, especially when it comes to who is in the line of succession. Faking a pregnancy, if true, would be seen as a betrayal, not just of public trust, but of the monarchy itself. There's also the matter of a possible age gap. Some documents suggest Archie may have been born 2 weeks earlier than announced. That might not seem like a big deal, but if true, it adds to the idea that things were being carefully staged behind the scenes, possibly to fit a fake pregnancy timeline. At the end of the day, this isn't just about paperwork or birth dates. It's about truth. Royals live very public lives, and with that comes responsibility. If there was nothing to hide, there would be no missing records, no confusing timelines, and no reason for the palace to step in. But now that they have, everyone's waiting for answers, institutional stakes, and royal response. The British monarchy isn't just a family, it's a centuries-old institution built on tradition, history, and one key principle: bloodline. Who's born into the royal line matters. It determines titles, duties, and most importantly, who can become the future king or queen. So when questions about Archie and Lilibet's parentage come up, it's not just gossip, it hits the monarchy at its core. King Charles has been trying to modernize the royal family. His goal is a slimmed-down monarchy, fewer working royals, less drama, and a tighter focus on public service. But that only works if the public still trusts the system. And that trust depends on knowing exactly who's in the royal bloodline. If doubts remain about whether Archie and Lilibet were born of Meghan and Harry, or if surrogacy was used without proper disclosure, it could impact their place in the line of succession. Archie is currently sixth in line to the throne. That's not just a title, it's a constitutional matter. If it's proven that procedures were bypassed or deception took place, the monarchy could be pushed into a full-blown crisis. It's not about personal choices. It's about the structure of a system that depends on clear, traceable lineage. If that foundation cracks, so does public confidence. Behind the palace walls, reactions have reportedly been intense. Prince William, always seen as the steady heir, is said to be furious. To him, this isn't just about his brother's decisions. It's about the damage to the family's image, the institution, and everything they stand for. William has spent years protecting the crown's reputation, and now he's watching it get dragged through the mud. Princess Anne, known for her blunt honesty, reportedly called the situation a disgrace during private conversations. She spent her entire life quietly doing the work, staying out of scandals, and putting duty first. For her, this kind of controversy is both embarrassing and disrespectful to everything the royals are supposed to represent. Then there's King Charles, caught in the middle. As a father, he loves Harry, but as king, his first responsibility is to the monarchy. He can't look the other way if serious doubts threaten the system. That's likely why the palace, after years of silence, has now stepped forward. For a long time, the royal family has followed the rule of never complain, never explain. It's all about quiet dignity. But now, things have gone too far. The stakes are too high, and the palace has shifted from silence to confrontation. By demanding answers and potentially DNA verification, they've shown this is no longer a private matter. It's not just about Meghan and Harry. It's about the future of the monarchy itself. The family can't move forward with this cloud hanging over them. The public won't allow it, and the institution can't afford it. Now, the world waits to see what comes next, and whether the royal family can weather this storm without falling apart. Public evidence and social media forensics. While the palace stayed silent for years, the internet did not. In fact, some of the biggest suspicions surrounding Meghan's pregnancies didn't start with journalists. They started with regular people online. And those people weren't just sharing rumors. They were building a case, clip by clip, photo by photo. Social media users began digging up old videos of Meghan from her pregnancy days. One of the most shared clips shows her standing up during a talk, and something under her dress folds unnaturally. It didn't take long for people to say that looks like a fake bump. That video alone has millions of views and has been shared across platforms like TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Then came the photo comparisons. People began posting side-by-side images showing Meghan's bump changing shape or position. In one, it's low and wide. In another, it's high and narrow, taken just days apart. While it's true that baby bumps can look different depending on angles or clothing, the differences here looked too dramatic to ignore. These posts kept trending, and hashtags like #Megxit and #FakeBump started gaining serious traction. The internet crowd didn't stop there. They brought in their own version of forensic analysis. Some users claimed to zoom in and slow down footage to catch small details: how the bump shifted, how Meghan moved, even how she held her belly. Body language experts, real and self-proclaimed, gave their opinions. People analyzed how pregnant women usually walk, sit, or get up, and pointed out how Meghan's behavior didn't always match that. Memes followed. They mocked the inconsistencies and created jokes about royal babies, pillows, and the idea of staged pregnancies. At first, it may have seemed like just internet noise, but over time, the volume and visibility made it hard to ignore. Even major news outlets began covering the online theories. What started as fringe suspicion became a full-blown public investigation. And that leads to a much bigger problem: the version of events the world was sold. When Meghan and Harry released their Netflix series, it was a global hit. It painted their story as one of escape, truth, and courage. They told viewers they were mistreated by the press and misunderstood by the palace. Millions believed them. People cried with them, defended them, and saw them as modern heroes breaking outdated traditions. That message became the heart of their brand. Meghan and Harry didn't just walk away from royal duties. They built a new public identity. They gave interviews, signed book deals, went on speaking tours, and spoke out about mental health, racism, and personal freedom. All of it came with the powerful image of a young royal couple bravely choosing love and truth. But now, with these new questions rising, people are starting to look back, and some feel misled. If parts of their story, especially around the pregnancies, were staged or hidden, it could break the trust they worked so hard to earn. The issue isn't just about whether a surrogate was used, it's about the story they told the world. If fans feel they were emotionally manipulated, the backlash could be massive. People bought books. They watched documentaries. They defended Meghan and Harry online, sometimes at the cost of their own relationships. If the foundation of that narrative falls apart, their entire rebranding effort could collapse with it. The truth is, people are willing to accept a lot, even surrogacy, secrecy, or tension with the royals. What they won't accept is feeling lied to. And if the social media theories turn out to be true, the damage won't be limited to the palace. It'll hit Meghan and Harry's public image hard. The ultimatum and current standoff. After years of silence, the palace has finally drawn a line. According to insiders, King Charles has issued a firm ultimatum to Prince Harry and Meghan: no DNA, no titles. If they don't agree to confirm the parentage of Archie and Lilibet through official testing, the children may lose their royal titles and all privileges tied to their position in the line of succession. This isn't just about family anymore. It's about the institution, and the palace has made it clear it will no longer accept selective storytelling or half-truths. For too long, they say, Meghan and Harry have shaped their own version of events without being held accountable. Now, the monarchy wants facts, not feelings. A senior royal aide reportedly said, "This isn't about revenge or punishment, it's about setting the record straight." In other words, the public deserves clarity, and the institution needs to protect its future. The days of avoiding confrontation in the name of family loyalty appear to be over. The situation has forced King Charles into a painful spot, one where he must choose between his role as a father and his duty as a monarch. But according to those close to him, the king believes that preserving the credibility of the crown must come first. If there's any doubt about bloodline legitimacy, it can't be ignored, no matter who is involved. This ultimatum puts Harry and Meghan in a truly difficult position. They've built their public image on the idea of privacy, freedom, and doing things on their own terms. But now, that silence is no longer being seen as strength. It's being seen as guilt. Every day they don't respond adds to the suspicion. If the pregnancies were completely natural, why not just agree to the test and end the questions once and for all? The longer they wait, the more people believe they're hiding something. In today's world of social media and non-stop speculation, staying quiet is no longer a shield, it's a red flag. But on the other hand, agreeing to DNA tests could bring its own disaster. If the test reveals that a surrogate was used, and they never told the palace or worse, faked the pregnancy, it would confirm the very thing they've been accused of. It could destroy their credibility, both inside and outside the royal family. They're stuck. Refuse the test, and people will say, that's as good as admitting the allegations are true. Accept the test, and they risk confirming those same allegations publicly. Either way, their reputation takes a hit. There's also no clean exit now. If they walk away from titles and royal ties without explanation, it will be seen as a quiet surrender. But if they keep pushing back without proof, the pressure will only increase. This is no longer just a family argument. It's a full-blown standoff, with global attention, institutional power, and deep personal pain wrapped into one. The palace has spoken, the public is watching, and Meghan and Harry must decide what matters more: keeping their truth hidden or protecting what's left of their legacy. Either way, the next move is theirs, and the clock is ticking. No matter what happens next, the fallout will be huge. Even if DNA tests confirm Archie and Lilibet are Harry and Meghan's biological children, questions around deception and secrecy won't disappear. If the results are unclear or contradict past claims, it could spark a full constitutional crisis. Either way, Meghan and Harry's image takes a hit, and the palace faces scrutiny for allowing it to escalate. The royal family is now being tested, not just on truth, but on how it handles its own. The outcome will shape public trust in the monarchy for years to come. The royal saga is reaching its most dramatic chapter yet. One DNA test could rewrite the future of the monarchy. Are Meghan and Harry misunderstood victims, or is there a deeper truth they've kept hidden? With the world watching and the stakes higher than ever, the outcome could change everything we know about the royal family. Don't miss a single update as this story unfolds. Like, share, and subscribe to stay informed on every twist in this historic moment.